Yo, man, it's turkey time. It's November. It's chilly. Oh, wait, I live in Phoenix. It's not so bad. I can still wear shorts in November and December. You know what I'm saying? I think you do. Oh, thank you very much. Hey, I think we got a good show going on today. So let's get started, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Laughing with cancer. Let's live life, not just survive. Laughing with cancer. If you're not laughing, life will pass you by.
Hi, and welcome to Laughing with Cancer, show number 20. I am your host, the one, the only, Elvis Rico. How you guys doing? I hope you're doing great this November. If it's already past turkey time, I hope you guys had a wonderful turkey day. If it's not quite past turkey time, then enjoy your turkey day. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the loved ones that get together. Don't get mad at that one uncle that tends to drink a little too much, indulge a little too much in the wine. Don't get mad at him. He's just enjoying life. You know what I mean? You guys are gonna have to excuse me a little bit if I sound a little congested. I'm trying to get over a cold. And well, what can I say? When you have cancer or any other kind of chronic illness, your immune system is already compromised, so it takes a little longer to get rid of a cold, a simple cold. But yes, November. I hope it's not too chilly for you guys. It's here in Phoenix. It's been a couple chilly nights. Not too bad, you know. But I still wear my shorts and my t-shirts, so it's all right. That's what I love about December in Phoenix. You can still wear your shorts and a t-shirt in the middle of winter in Phoenix, Arizona. That's what I love about Phoenix. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys are having a wonderful November. The beginning of November I want to give my mom and dad a shout out. November 2nd was their anniversary, and they were married on the Day of the Dead. Can you imagine that? You're getting married on the Day of the Dead. That could be a bad thing or it could be a good thing. For my folks, fortunately, it's been a very good thing. They've been married for 47 years and happily married at that. At least they seem happily married. I don't know. You never know. But I'm glad it worked out for you, Mom and Dad. So I give you guys a shout out and happy anniversary to you guys. Also on November 7th, we did the Light the Night Walk for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and that turned out awesome, totally awesome. Myself, Jules, Caitlin, and a friend of hers went with us for team Laughing with Cancer. Of course, we met our goal for what we were raising. I want to thank everybody who donated to the Light the Night Walk. Thank you very much. I appreciate it so much, and I'm looking forward to next year. Light the Night Walk, there was they averaged 7,500 walkers that joined on Light the Night Walk. So that was a lot of people. And there was a lot of lit up lanterns walking that walk. And for Arizona alone, I believe they raised over $700,000 for Phoenix alone. So way to go, people. That's awesome. Well, maybe not Phoenix alone, probably all of Arizona, 750,000. That makes more sense, right? Excuse me. That's awesome. Over $700,000. Worldwide, I'm not sure. I think they said something about 60 million, or maybe not worldwide, but yeah, worldwide I think it was. I don't know. But anyway, 60 million. That's a lot for to help find a cure for this blood disorder called leukemia or lymphoma. So thank you very much. But on today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about breast cancer. Did you know that 1 out of 8 women are diagnosed with breast cancer? But you know what? Breast cancer is also men can get breast cancer. It's very rare, but sometimes they do. So we're not cutting out men now. But yeah, breast cancer, 1 out of every 8 women get breast cancer. And today we have a special guest. We have a comedian from Chicago, Illinois. Our guest today, her name is Veronique Martinez, a.k.a. Miss Nikki, or as people like to call her, the Cancer Queen of Comedy. Like I said, Miss Nikki lives in Chicago, Illinois, and is a mother of a beautiful daughter. And I do believe she just recently got married, so she might be a newlywed. I'm not sure about that. I hope I'm not mistaken that and have that wrong. But we'll have to ask her. Miss Nikki is a cancer survivor and / fighter and a stand-up comedian. In 2010, she was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer and decided to take this negative and turn it into a positive by becoming a comedian. In 2011, she seemed to have beaten breast cancer. However, in 2012, it came back and is terminal, but that has not stopped her one single bit. She wanted to help others think positive through their battle with cancers of all types. Miss Nikki has graced the stage at various venues and comedy showcases such as Zanies Chicago, Abbey Pub, Jokes and Notes, Laugh Factory, and many others. Miss Nikki has been in films such as Here Comes Flabby Hoffman in 2014 and has appeared as an extra on Empire Season 2 and Spike Lee's Chiraq. She has a role as Miss Nikki in the independent film Open Windows, which is slated to be released by 2017. Miss Nikki is such an inspiration to so many people surviving and fighting cancer and is living proof that cancer really hates laughter. So, I'm going to play a quick little clip of Miss Nikki's stand-up, and then after that, with no further ado, I shall give you Miss Nikki Martinez, the Cancer Queen of Comedy.
For the love. Man, I don't know what's going on State and Kinsey, though. On my way here tonight, somebody thought I was a prostitute. I don't know what about me says prostitute, but I was pissed. I was like, you ain't throw off my mojo for tonight. Oh, wait a minute. Then my inner Miss Nikki said, wait a minute, girl, somebody's still waiting to pay for it. I said, well, shit, come back. I snoozed. Cell phone gonna be cut off tomorrow. For those of y'all who don't know me, I am the Cancer Queen of Comedy. I beat stage 3 breast cancer in 2011. Unfortunately, it came back in 2012, and I currently have tumors from my scalp, down my neck, down my spine, down my hips, and the back pains that like moving furniture. And the Advil's not quite working, but don't tell my husband. He thinks I've been putting it on me really good. So we just gonna keep that between us.
Hi, Rich.
How you doing, Miss Veronica? How you doing?
Oh my God, I'm so glad we figured this out. I swear it shows my age when it comes to using this technological stuff.
Oh, I know how that is. I'm surprised I'm able to even have a podcast or a website or anything like that.
I feel you. Oh my goodness. How is it out there? Tell me it's warm because we're freezing over here in Chicago.
Oh, it's nice. I'm wearing shorts today.
Oh, okay.
That's what I love about Phoenix. You know, in December you can wear your shorts and tank top and put a Christmas hat on.
Nice.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on my show.
Oh, I am so honored. Thank you for asking me.
I see that you had a show over the weekend, 2 of them, or 1 of them?
I was in Valparaiso on Saturday, and usually when I go to Indiana, I make it as far as the casino, so to go to Valparaiso was quite an adventure. And of course, we had snow the day I have to go out there, and so we had a lot of black ice. It was quite harrowing to get out there, but it was very nice. The room was really great. It was a great crowd, and I couldn't ask for better.
Well, that's good. That's awesome. Well, I heard about your story, and I just thought that was amazing. Do you want to tell a little bit about your story?
Absolutely. First of all, I was in healthcare for 20 years. I was in nursing school as well. And I actually worked for the surgeon who eventually did my surgery. And when I found it, I was actually going to work. I found my left breast. I was seeing the doctor for my annual checkup. And nobody found the lump. I found it.
Oh, you found it yourself?
Yes, I found it myself. And unfortunately, it was a holiday. I was working security for a Memorial Day parade when I found it that morning before going to work. So there was nobody I could call. I made the appointment for my mammogram. They sent me to an ultrasound and they did a biopsy right there. And literally 24 hours later, I was told that I have cancer. What do I want to do? So I asked my doctor, if I was your wife's sister, daughter, what would you do? He said, let's try to save the breast. And that's what we did. I was on the table the very next day. When they got the biopsy back and they saw that the ultrasound and the mammogram, the lump measured smaller than what it actually was. So they had to go back and remove my left breast. And so I had a surgery on a Wednesday. By Friday, I was told we're having another surgery. By Monday, I had that surgery. And I came home after my mastectomy, and I had to wait 28 days before I could start my chemo and radiation. It turned out that I had what is called ER receptor positive breast cancer, which means my estrogen was feeding the tumor. So talk about your body, rejecting and, turning on itself. That's exactly what happened to me. I beat it in 2011 after 16 rounds of chemo, 33 of radiation, and 12 of a study drug.
Oh, my gosh.
And my cancer came back in 2012, and it metastasized to my bone. So I currently have tumors it started in my spine and my hips, and it has progressed now to my skull, my neck, all the way down my spine and hips. I have multiple fractures. But if you were to see me, you wouldn't know unless I told you that I have cancer.
Yeah, I have watched some of your YouTube videos and clips, and you definitely are not afraid to talk about your cancer. That's awesome.
I made a decision when I was waiting to start the chemo. I had 28 days to sit around and figure out what I was going to do with myself because I was immediately taken off work, for immunity reasons. And I decided I was going to make cancer my career, and I was going to try and save another life. If these were the lemons that I got, I was going to add vodka.
There you go.
And let's do business. I never did comedy before I got cancer.
So you'd never been on the stage or anything like that before cancer?
The closest I was on stage was probably junior year of high school. And even then, I didn't do any plays. I just took acting class because you could smoke during that class. But no, honestly, I used to take people to open mics and watch them. I used to bring people all the time, and they used to tell me, oh my God, you got to get on stage. And I was like, sure. If it was happy hour and all my friends were here, absolutely. But I never in a million years would have thought that I would end up doing comedy. And to backtrack a little bit, before I got sick, a friend of mine and I had a deep conversation about, as you're getting older, what is it that you want to accomplish in this lifetime? And I said, you know what? I always thought that I would like to touch as many lives as possible. I just don't know how or why. And apparently God heard me because, they say he never gives you more than you can handle. And sometimes I wish he didn't think I was so responsible.
Right.
But it is what it is. And I figured, it's too easy to let cancer take control of my life. And I tell people all the time, cancer lives with me. I don't live with it. I make a choice every day to get up and to do as much as possible. I try to keep as normal of a lifestyle as possible. I don't think about it all the time until it's time to take all my pills and all that wonderful. Yeah. But, because you go to a doctor's office and you go as often as I do, which is once a week, they'll look at you and they'll tell you, oh, you look great, go home and rest, and it's like, what? I have a life. I had a daughter I was raising. I was married. I got divorced and got remarried during all of this. Yeah,
I was wondering that. You recently got remarried, haven't you?
3 years ago. It'll be 3 years in February, yeah.
3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And, everybody was surprised when I told them I got divorced. They're like, you did what? And I was like, listen, if I'm really going out, I'm going with somebody who loves me, not with somebody who feels sorry for me.
There you go.
Doesn't really care about what's going on.
There you go. There you go. So it basically took you 28 days to decide that's what's gonna, that's what I'm gonna do that I'm gonna do comedy. I'm gonna make fun of this. I'm not gonna let this cancer get to me. I'm basically gonna say, screw cancer. I'm going to take over my life. You're not gonna take my life.
Comedy wasn't exactly on the top of the list. I started off. I decided I would use the skills that I was good at. So in grammar school, one of my teachers had submitted something that I had written, and it actually became published. And I was always very good at English and writing and whatnot. So I actually started off by writing letters I picked People Magazine, Reader's Digest, and Latina Magazine. The only one who published me was Latina Magazine. So they published that with a picture of me and my daughter when she shaved her head for me. And I was named Wise Latina for November 2010 issue. It was fantastic. And, I was like writing and I was thinking about my journey. And what you see on stage is actually, I talk like that in real life. When I talk about situations, I always look at the bright side and try and, it's funny to me. So when people were like, you were going to do comedy about cancer. And I was like, I'm not saying, haha, you're sick. I'm telling you about my journey and my perception and how I deal with it.
Yeah.
In those 28 days, it was crazy that I went to a friend of mine who promotes comedy, which is Mike Eo, and he knew what was going on with me. He just wasn't able to respond fast enough. And he had an event coming up for the Silver Lining Foundation. They were trying to raise funds for women to get free mammograms. I ended up, for the very first time, telling jokes in a room in front of 534 people, a room that I used to sit in the audience, that I've seen people that I admire. And I was the headliner for the very first time doing comedy. So it was amazing. And it was amazing the fact that we raised enough money for 17 women to get free mammograms, to have people relate to me and tell me their stories and share something so deep and something so raw with me. It was amazing that I had that connection with people.
Yeah.
I vowed that I would share that part of my life absolutely in its entirety to the world, because somebody needs to hear what I have to say. Somebody needs to realize it's not so bad. I tell people all the time, I know what I'm living with. You know what I'm saying? I know that I have cancer, but what is my choice for today? Every day you wake up and you make a decision. Is today going to be a good day or a bad day? It's up to you from the minute you open your eyes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you too. What does motivate you to get up out of bed every day? I mean, I have leukemia, and I know that some days the fatigue is the worst. I can deal with the pain sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but the fatigue is what kicks my ass all the time, and I got to find a reason to get out of bed at times.
Well, I have my 18-year-old daughter, and I vowed to her when I was first diagnosed, Mommy's going to beat this. I promise you that. You're the only one that I'm going to allow to, cry and be upset. I get it. You have that right. But I want you to let that go. Don't carry that baggage. I'm not doing that. And she was like insistent to come to the hospital the day I had surgery. I was like, no, I'm going to be home on the sofa when you get home. And sure enough, she went to the hospital and found out I was already home on the sofa. So, she motivates me. My husband motivates me. They joke when I say I don't feel like doing the dishes. They're like, oh, you've got cancer. We'll joke back and forth, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, they're like, oh, you're playing the cancer card, whatever, But you have to find something. Like if you have your podcast, it takes work to book people and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To put the show together, to produce it, to get it out there. So there's different things. And I, believe it or not, have a ridiculous schedule between trying to book shows, work on my comedy, work on my radio show, maintain the household. It's you're trying to occupy your time so that you are normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel more normal the more stuff I've got going on. Like I auditioned for movies, believe it or not, and I actually filmed 4. I filmed 2 independents, and I filmed Chiraq with Spike Lee. I got to meet him, and I've also been on the set of Empire. So I do all this crazy, not as a bucket list, but as something to say, I have something to do today. I got to do the best at what I'm doing.
Something to keep you going.
If I don't get out there, people aren't going to hear my story.
Exactly.
And then I'm doing a disservice to them.
Well, that's awesome. And that independent film, Open Windows, that's going to be released in 2017, if I'm correct?
I think it's supposed to be 2016. I mean, we keep going back and forth with they've made changes and whatnot, but I heard it was supposed to be 2016. If it's 2017, I haven't heard. And now Chiraq, I'm excited to see. They just did the red carpet here in Chicago last night.
Awesome. That is, and you're so motivated. Your story motivates so many people. I can imagine motivates so many people just because, I know a lot of people that are told they have cancer and stuff, and they go through that roller coaster. I'm sure you went through that roller coaster of emotions where it's the 5 stages of grief, basically your anger, denial, bargaining, depression, and acceptance.
Oh, honey, I bargain every day, let me tell you. I tell people all the time, listen, I'm not this cheery all the time. Trust me. Like the day that I found out that my cancer came back, I was going to give a speech for a company called Bras for Hope for a award ceremony. And my doctor called me and she's crying. to tell me this information because she's like, Nikki, you're too young. You did everything you were supposed to do. I can't even give you a reason why this happened. And I had my moment, and I cried and I screamed and I was angry. At that particular time, nobody was home. My daughter and my husband at that time were out of town. So I called my best friend. I'm like, look, this is what's going on. I'm going to need you to drive me there and back because I'm losing it. I'm really losing it. And I decided that the best time to tell everybody was at that ceremony. I wanted people to understand that this is the life of a cancer patient. Just because you hear those words that you're in remission, you're always in the back of your mind. Is it coming back? Will it come back? And yes, in my case, it did. So I wanted people to understand this is, it's not once you're in remission, you have a free mind that you're, oh man, I'm good. Once you've been through this journey, and it's always like the shadow is right there.
Yeah.
How long have you been diagnosed with leukemia?
I was diagnosed in 2003. I did chemo in 2006. And now it's just it's a slower progressing leukemia. I guess if you have any kind of leukemia, CLL is the best kind to get.
Oh, wow.
Because it's a slower progressing kind.
Tell people that,
And you always get you have cancer? You look so good. Well, yeah, you ought to wake up in the morning in my shoes because sometimes it doesn't feel that way. I go to bed
sometimes feeling like I'm 19 and I wake up like I'm 90.
I hear you. And then
I think because people can't see what we deal with, they don't get it.
Exactly.
I've had people question, like, why don't you get a full-time job? Well, because my immunity, due to taking the poison that they give me, for me, I knew like I had to count so many days. And what people didn't realize is, they're like, oh, did you try eating green or doing this or doing that? And I'm like, look, on a certain day of the week, I can't eat fresh vegetables that I can't clean enough. If I can't cook it, peel it, boil it, whatever, I can't have it for a set amount of days. So it's pretty much like I'm eating crap those days, hot dogs, whatever. And sometimes you eat like you're pregnant is what I tell people. It's like whatever you're craving and you can get down, that's what you eat.
Yeah.
That and my other question that is my pet peeve is why didn't I go to Cancer Treatment Centers of America? And I tell people all the time, when you're on disability and the state insurance, they frown upon that. They don't take those insurances.
But if you if you hit the lottery, boy, they want you. They say, "Come here, we'll fix you up."
Right? They'll send the limo.
That's right.
But I tell people, Cancer Treatment Centers of America, God bless them for what they're doing. But what I try to explain to people, there's a cancer center within the facility that I go to. So it's in a hospital as opposed to being a standalone facility that just treats cancer. It doesn't mean that they're treating me any different than Cancer Treatment Centers of America. The area I go to treats specifically that, and people don't kind of get that either.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had people ask you, like, how's your diet and what do you do? I'm sure you have, like, issues with people. Oh, I read about this. You should eat this.
Yeah. And my girlfriend's into essential oils, so she's always, well, why don't you try this? They say it's for cancer. I'm like, well, I'll try it. But, the cancer's going to do what the cancer wants to do. Is the way I think. And some of the essential oils that she gives me and some of the stuff that I do for pain and stuff does seem to help. And I'm grateful for it.
And, I did have a girlfriend who does the essential oil thing too. And what I had to explain to people about certain drugs, my cancer is still breast cancer. It's just metastasized to the bone. So my bone cancer is actually secondary to the breast cancer. So any treatment that anybody would say, oh, I heard this is good for bone. Bone is not my primary cancer. So that, like I've done oregano oil.
Yeah.
I've done like turmeric. But on the same side, I was poisoning myself with turmeric because I didn't know you couldn't have it during radiation. And one day I woke up and couldn't feel like my lips or my mouth.
Oh, no.
So I asked the pharmacist, hey, by the way, how's turmeric and radiation work? Oh, dear, you should never do it. I was like, Jesus. I've been on it for like 3 days. So the minute I stopped, it cleared up. Because I was like, great, I'm poisoning myself on top of.
Wow.
So, you really have to know what you're putting in your body. And it makes you educate yourself. It really does.
Yeah. So are you doing any kind of treatment now as far as the tumors that you have now? Do they have you on any kind of like, are they going to be doing radiation or chemo again or?
Well, radiation, not right now. When this came back, and the tumors had spread to my neck and my scalp, I asked, could I have radiation? And they gave me, I think it was 13 rounds to the neck. And that was like the worst thing ever because it took my voice and my ears were like on fire.
Oh, wow.
And I actually did a show with no voice. I was like, just turn up the mic. We'll do this. I sound like Joan Rivers. It's horrible. But they gave me a new drug that just came out on the market called Ibrance. And it's an oral chemotherapy. And I joke that it's like taking the pill because I take it for 21 days and I'm off for 7. And I take it in conjunction. I used to take tamoxifen, which women who get breast cancer, it's to block estrogen. And they decided to give me something different. And so they gave me this other drug that I take in conjunction with the Ibrance, letrozole. So I do vitamins. I have to do like a vitamin D, a really high dose to keep my calcium up for my bone.
Right.
I do fish oil for muscle. I take a multivitamin just in case my nutrition that day isn't that great, you know. And then they have me on muscle relaxers because I do have a lot of cramping and spasms.
Yeah.
Especially where I had a lot of surgery in my chest area, so it's like I can feel it. I know my hand is there, but sometimes it's like still kind of numb. And then because of all the nerve damage from the chemo, like people don't realize sometimes my hands and feet go numb. So, like, I had to stop wearing high heels because, you know, it kind of sucks to walk when you can't feel your feet. So,
right.
But yeah, no, I tried to do some natural stuff. I had a girlfriend that makes marijuana butter.
Uh-huh.
So you can either cook with it or you can actually rub it into your skin. So when my neck bothers me, I will rub it into my neck before I go to bed. And it really smells like, you know, weed. It's like, oh my God, it smells like somebody's been smoking in the house.
Yeah.
But it does the trick, you know. So
I've had a lot of people ask me, why don't you smoke weed? You got cancer and stuff. I was like, do you know how hard I fight fatigue as it is? If I smoke a joint, you know, I'm done.
You're like, I'm done till like Thursday.
Exactly.
First of all, you know what's funny about that question is every pot smoker comes out of the woodwork the minute you tell me you have cancer.
Oh yeah.
I would have had a line around the corner. Had I been smart, I'd have took the weed and sold it. But to supplement the disability. You know?
There you go.
But no, it's crazy. Like, I asked the doctor about taking marijuana in pill form because that's the only way it's like legal here. They actually started opening up some dispensaries here, but I have yet to venture out. I was curious about it only because I've been on hydrocodone for a good 3 years now, 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And I know I can take a pill and like literally get in the car and function. Like it does not do anything. And I usually take it at night so that way I can function during the day so I don't have to take it during the day. But I was like, you know, I don't hear any potheads complaining of constipation, so I'm kind of interested.
That's true. That the oxycodone does come with that unfortunately.
Yeah. Yes. And now for leukemia, can you have radiation or no?
They did the chemotherapy for me, and they said basically they can only do it a certain amount of times before the body becomes immune to it. So they say I'm going to have to do chemotherapy again. They're just waiting for my chemo to get worse. So I'm like at a watch and wait. So it's like, well, what point does it have to be so bad that they have to finally do chemo again? They don't want to do it too soon. So, but they don't want to do it too late. So when do they do it? Who knows?
And are you on IV therapy for that? Like you go in and get hooked up and...
Yeah, that's what they'd have to do for me.
Yeah, I still have a port. Yeah, I feel your pain on that one. Actually, I had to have a port put in 3 times. This was horrible.
Oh my God.
I decided to take it out when I was having my reconstruction when I was clean. Because it sucks to go in and have them, you know, like filter it and make sure everything's good and it works.
Yeah.
So I was like, just go ahead and take it when you're doing my reconstruction. Well, they put in one on the opposite side when it came back. And that one was so horrible. I had nurses practically laying across me trying to get blood out.
Oh my
goodness.
Ridiculous.
And it actually infiltrated and chemo did not make it into the IV. It actually went right into my breast.
Oh.
And I woke up, I was dead to the world sleep during chemo. I wake up and I've got like everybody surrounding me and they're like, oh my God, how do you feel? And I'm like, I feel fine. Why? And the swelling, it changed the color of my skin. It was horrible. Thank God I didn't have the burn. But it sucks when you're at a hospital and they can't give you medicine there. They have to order it to fix your problem. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
So they resolved the issue, but then my plastic surgeon wanted to see me, and I was like, well, it was one of those, like, I didn't want to show him, like, they jacked up his work. I was trying to get it to heal first. I was like, I kept putting it off, like, it's not you, it's me, And, finally I broke down and told him what happened, and he's like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, oh. So, yeah, that really, but, the IV therapy was okay for me, but the last round that they gave me before they got me on this oral stuff was just knocking me out. I'd be home, and it would take me about a good 2 to 3 days to recover, to be fully able to say, okay, I can do the dishes, make some of the dinner, and maybe go out,
Yeah. And you were still doing comedy during all this, too.
I've done comedy after chemo. I have done it.
Wow.
And it's just, here's my thought. This is what I do, and I'm sure you probably have a schedule too. If I know that I'm going to perform, I will work around their schedule. So if I'm having chemo that day, I'll go in early so I can catch a nap. I promise to hand wash and not hug people, and I go do my show and go straight home.
So have you found that laughter is actually the best medicine? Do you believe that?
Yes.
Oh, I believe that too. I really do.
Lord, yes. Listen, I tell people at the end of my radio show, laugh till you cry till you laugh, but either way, you must laugh. Because for me, I feel that if I cry and give in, it's going to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have a negative vibe, like, you those people who always like, oh, I feel like I have a cold. And it's kind of like you bring it on yourself. You will it enough, it's like it'll happen.
Yeah.
You can, kind of psychosomatic make yourself feel sick. And I feel that if I were to become depressed and be down about this, that it will overcome me. I really believe a lot of it is faith, your support system, and your state of mind.
Oh, yeah.
I really believe that.
Oh,
I think medicine is like the 10%,
Oh, yeah. Actually, the day after I talked to you first about coming onto the show, the very next day I woke up and I was congested. My throat was hurting. I was sick. I said, uh-oh. I went straight to the doctor, told the doc, give me a shot in the ass, give me a Z-Pack, and give me some cough syrup with codeine, because this is not going to happen. I gotta be better by Monday, because I'm talking to Miss Nikki. And that's exactly what he did.
How is your relationship with your doctor? Is he cool with like all the stuff that you're doing? Because mine is always like, oh Jesus, what is she doing?
As far as what? As far as
like, okay, when I first started like doing public speaking and before I got into the comedy, I actually got hit up by a lady who thought I was a part of a motorcycle club, which I wish I was. And they asked me to come speak when I finally told her my situation. And I went out on a Harley Cruiser. I did not realize that chemo and the sun don't mix. So I got a nasty burn that I couldn't hide from the doctor. And as I explained it to him, I'm the back of a motorcycle, and this is how this happened. He's like, you were what? I was like, I wasn't driving it. I was being escorted, thank you. He was just like shaking his head. And now he's at the point like, can I give you medicine? What do you got going on?
No, my doctors here are pretty good. They're pretty good with me. And they always, every time I go in the same, they say, well, your numbers are a little higher, but everything else is looking good. The fatigue is going to get worse as the numbers go up. That's just something you have to deal with. If it gets to a point where we need to do treatment for the fatigue itself, we can do that. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to wait till this stuff is bad and then do the chemo. But other than that, they're pretty good. When I first got diagnosed, I got a bunch of tattoos, and the doctors got pissed at me.
Well, I snuck and got a tattoo without my doctor knowing, so I hope he doesn't need me to, to see anything on my back anytime soon, because he's gonna be like, "What is that?" Well,
I had a tattoo on my arm, and when I went in there, he lectured me for about 15 minutes, saying, you have a blood disorder, you can't be doing this, you can't be doing that, and at that point, I was kind of pissed off at the world. I was pissed off at everybody. I was getting a divorce during the time. I was just mad at everybody. So I said, okay. 2 months later, I went back in and I had a tattoo on my forearm. It says, I have leukemia. Leukemia doesn't have me. And if you don't like it on my other side of my forearm, I have a big I taking a shit on a U for I shit on you.
You got to send me the pictures. I got to see this. Oh my God.
I would definitely send you a picture of that. So yeah, I did all those tattoos. I have a whole sleeve of tattoos, and that basically was just me being angry,
Well, I got to tell you, I kind of did it to myself. Before I got sick, I wanted something that represented me. And I saw the movie Fearless with Jet Li, and I wanted something that represent me. So I said Forever Fearless. I want it in, traditional Chinese lettering in the middle of my back in red. Little did I know what I was doing. Every time I go to the doctor, like, he'll forget and be like, what does that say again? And I was like, it doesn't say stupid American, I promise you. And he's had it translated every time. And they're like, yeah, it says Forever Fearless. And one of the anesthesiologists that saw me before surgery, he's like, could you have branded yourself any better? And I was like, I had no idea that it was like, bam, here it is.
Yep.
That was crazy. And my last tattoo, my daughter and I got matching tattoos. I did a flower thing when she was born. I had her birth flower with her name. So we always said we would do it. I ended up on the Price is Right Cancer Edition. My daughter did not tell me that she entered me, and we actually got picked to go.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool. I got to meet Drew, and, softest hands ever. I kid you not. I was like, wow, what does he moisturize with? But no, we decided we're going to do this in LA. So we literally are side by side. She's getting my birth on my mom's. I got my mom's added to hers. And my daughter took it like a champ. She's checking emails. She's listening to music. And I was like, I don't remember tattoos ever hurting this badly. So I was like, shit, that's what I get for lying to the doctor. It was like, here's the karma. So they were nice enough to give me this topical lidocaine. Oh my God, it was fantastic. She went to town. I was none the wiser. It was awesome.
Wow.
So, yeah.
There's...
Yeah,
go ahead.
Cool. I was just saying that's so cool that you did it. But because, it's true. It's like you want to do something for yourself. And I get it. Whether you're out of anger or in a good place, it makes you feel normal to be able to say, I'm going to go out and do this.
Yeah. Yeah, my doctors were not happy with me. After when I went back in, they finally said, okay, you win. Just wait and let your body heal a little bit before you go and get any more tattoos. I said, okay, just don't tell me what I can or can't do because I have cancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sucks when, like I said, I always feel bad when they're like, well, first of all, how they look at me with a straight face when I had no hair, no eyebrows, and I had what I call cancer rod. I looked like I had rosacea for a while. And they'd be like, oh, you look great. And I was like, is there a whole semester that they teach you how to lie? Because there's no way.
I know. And I was also waiting for that whole that chemo diet. That thing never happened. I was waiting for me to lose a bunch of weight from taking chemo and stuff like that. And that never happened. I was like, wait a minute. I was waiting to lose 50 pounds.
Every drug I have ever been given, first thing they say, causes weight gain. Causes weight gain. And I looked at them, I said, maybe I watch too much TV, but everybody who ever gets cancer on TV, they lose like 70 pounds and then they go to the doctor. What is it that I have? Well, to make matters worse, they put me on a steroid that caused me to have diabetes.
So add that to the list.
Well, I didn't know that insulin causes weight gain too. I was like, what in the hell? So I found out that with the estrogen thing, I had to figure out how to block this estrogen naturally. That was my next step. I really didn't want to, do anything major, but I was like, I'm not having any more kids. I was really willing to have surgery to have my ovaries removed. Funny enough, you can now say somebody who's withered up because on ultrasound, they brought in like 4 people in the room. They could not find my ovaries. The cancer and the chemo dried it up. It doesn't even show up on the screen. And I was laughing. I was like, I charge for comedy shows, so one more person come, we're charging. Like, this is ridiculous.
At least $10 a head, right?
Yeah. So the doctor was like, you don't need the surgery. So I was like, okay, how else can I block my estrogen? Well, I didn't know estrogen sits in fat cells. So I have since lost 40 pounds.
Awesome.
So I'm trying to get off the insulin, keep the weight down. And the little bit of estrogen that I have now comes off the adrenal glands above the kidneys. And it's being blocked by the letrozole. So I'm hoping, you know what I mean? Like, if I can starve my tumor and slow the growth, I'm good. That's my mentality with it.
There you go.
But yeah, everything was weight gain. Oh my God, they put me on steroids. I was like, yeah, facial hair is growing in just lovely. When do I get off this stuff? Because it made me eat.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been on steroids, but it's the worst thing ever. Worst thing ever. I didn't know that it caused you to be constantly hungry, like tapeworm hungry. I couldn't leave my house without planning what drive-thru I was going to go through. And I started to think I had an eating disorder. So one of the nurses is like, how's your appetite on those steroids? Because boy, do they make you hungry. I was like, sweet Lord, that's what it is? And I couldn't wait to get off of them.
Yeah, well, no, I've known some bodybuilders on steroids that want to eat everything and your plate too, but
I'm not lying. Thanksgiving rolled around. I made turkey tetrazzini with the rest of the turkey, right? And the tray is like talking to me from the living room. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. Drink a big glass of water. Nope, not going to do it. By the time my daughter came home, I ate the majority of the tray by myself.
oh my goodness.
And it really does that to you. It's so horrible. All you think about is food. It's disgusting. I don't know what's in that drug, but it just does that to you.
Oh,
it really
wow.
does. I couldn't wait to be off of it. I mean, it was great for my nerves. It took away my nerve pain, but I was just like, man, I can't tell you how fast I gained weight on that thing. It was terrible.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, I was looking at your Facebook page, and one of your favorite, you had the list of favorite quotes. And one of the quotes you had on there, it says, how do you feel now that you know you're about to die? Could you maybe, is that more of a quote to yourself or a question to yourself? I was just kind of, that was curious to me.
That is from a Steven Seagal movie. Long before I got sick, I was big into martial arts flicks, and Steven was one of my favorites at the time. And that was actually a quote from one of his movies that had nothing to do with this. But again, looking back in retrospect, like, damn, did I know something before I knew it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was reading that. I was like, I wonder if that's she's asking herself that. But now that you say Steven Seagal, I think I know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was. I kind of, I forgot about it. Actually, you put stuff up, and years later, you ain't thinking about it.
Right.
And but truthfully, I have thought about it before I got sick. I had a conversation with my daughter because, like I said, I was a single mom at the time. And I told her, if nature has it the way it's supposed to work, obviously I'm going to die before you, And I actually had planned my funeral with her. And I told her, this is what I want. I'm not religious. I want you to have good memories. I want everybody to tell stories about me. I hope they don't scar you. Look at pictures, enjoy and celebrate the life that I had and what it meant to everybody. Little did I know, like 2 months later, I would end up being diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, wow.
Fast forward about 4 years, I have this fantastic girlfriend who is my number one fan. She has a friend who's a mortician. I asked her to take me to see him. And I literally told him, because the reason why I liked his funeral home, it was, I had two options. One funeral home was named Hollerback, but it's like a German way that it's done. But I thought it was funny as hell because I was like, could you imagine everybody driving up to the funeral like, holla back, I was just like, everybody's gonna be like, this broad, So, but I went to him because he has only one room. So I said I wanted to have a party. Good, I won't disturb anybody else if somebody else is mourning the loss of a loved one.
Right.
What I wanted to do, I worked in the bar industry for years, worked with a lot of DJs. I said I wanted to have like velvet ropes going up to the book, to sign in. I want, instead of, how they have on those cards, like, date of birth, date of death, and they say like rise and sunset. Right. I wanted to be like doors open and last call. I wanted everybody to have a wristband. I'm like, can we serve like alcohol? Like, I totally want a beer tub of Corona and Jägermeister.
There you go.
Like Jack Daniels. That's what I drink. And I said, I do want to have a DJ set up in there and playing the music that I listen to. I'm not religious. I believe that, my personal beliefs with my God is that I don't want it to be somber. I want everybody to celebrate. Hell, move the chairs, do the cha-cha slide. Talk about me, have a great time. That's what I want.
Make sure that one uncle that always gets drunk at Thanksgiving, make sure he shows up and has a good time.
Well, I told them, I said, I want to celebrate my life, and this is how I want to do it. They said, you can do everything short of the liquor. So I joked. I said, my Puerto Rican husband, can he have like a pig on the spit, like in the parking lot? We were just, and I called my best friend who would be my DJ, and I told him it's like, listen, I got this spot for my send-off, and he's thinking like I'm going somewhere, and I'm like, no, for when I die. He was like, what? And I was like, dude, I want a party. I seriously want a party. I was like, if my mother has her way, the Pope would come and pray over me, but I don't want that. I want to celebrate my life. I think that is the best memory. I know people will be sad, but I think it would be nice to go down memory lane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think that would just be awesome. And then me and my girlfriend, this is the worst part. So, they have you in a room looking at stuff. Like, I know I want to be cremated. So we were looking at like urns and she's like, oh, look at this one. Isn't this one cute? I was like, bitch, we are not at Walmart. Are you crazy? Like, it's cute. I'm like, who says an urn is cute?
How funny.
We find a way to shop anywhere. Can I tell you?
Well, you had mentioned that you're not really a religious person. Do you find any kind of strength in a higher power when you're feeling really bad?
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. Here's the thing. I was raised. You never discuss race, religion, and politics.
Right.
So I was raised in a very strict Catholic household. I went to Catholic school. If my father had his way, I would have went to an all-girls Catholic college. Thank God they shut down. I believe in a higher power. Absolutely. I bargain with my God every day. I bargain that I get to walk my daughter down the aisle when she gets married and hold a grandchild. That I will one day be a homeowner. I bargain, to have time. I don't preach to anybody about religion like, oh my God, because of me, you should believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of person. But I do have a deep relationship with my higher power, as I like to tell people. I believe in God. I did get into chanting with Nichiren Buddhism.
Okay.
I started out doing it to clear my mind and to find like peace and solace.
Right.
And I started reading up on it. And it's amazing because Buddhism, from the way I perceive it and what I've read, is pretty much day-to-day living what people are doing now. It's, are you a good person? Are you putting positive things out there? Are you being nice to other people? Are you honest? Are you responsible? Are you kind? And that's what we do. You're supposed to do on a daily basis.
Right.
Technically, everybody practices Buddhism. They just don't have a title to it. They don't attach anything to it.
Right.
But I learned about positive thinking, about power of intention. For instance, somebody will wake up and say, man, how do I get out of this situation? Power of intention. You have this idea that, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to finish my degree. I'm going to move on to this, this, and this. You put it out there into the universe and you find the way to do it. It's like putting it on paper makes it real. Saying it makes it real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My mom used to always say, put it out in the ozone. Just put it out in the ozone. It'll happen.
Well, like I joked when I was first diagnosed, I said I never wanted to work a 9-to-5 ever again, and I wanted to make cancer a career. Ta-da!
There you go. There you go.
I'm not Kardashian famous, but
Well, when you do your comedy shows, are they mainly for like breast cancer awareness, or are they just venues that you do with other comedians? And do those comedians? Do you ever notice if they treat you? Do they just treat you like a normal comedian, or do they treat you any differently, do you think?
I'm kind of like the big mama. I'm always the one who, I don't subscribe to any particular cliques. There's a lot of cliques in comedy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's definitely a boys' game. It's definitely a man's world.
Mm-hmm.
So being a female is already a negative. Being a disabled female, as they say, is a double negative. I think at first I felt, and I don't know if people did feel this way, but I was like, man, I wonder, is the audience and are the comedians supporting me because they feel like, oh, she's sick? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, am I really funny? And I did go through a funk where I was like, man, I had a bad show. This guy booked me, and I thought he'd reviewed my stuff. He did not. He hated my cancer stuff. He lost a family member to cancer, and I told him, I said, she was a warrior. She fought a good fight. God bless. And he couldn't understand the positive side to it. And I finally told him, look, the difference between me and you is I know what's wrong with me. Plain and simple. And I went home, got in the Ben & Jerry's, and I was really upset about it. So I found a competition the following Saturday. I didn't know anybody on that list. And I signed up for the competition. I showed up, sat in the back of the room, and I actually won the competition. And I didn't do it, there was a prize, there was money involved in getting rebooked. I almost walked out the door without any of it because I wanted to see, could I make this room really, just really bring it and kill it. And I did. And that brought me back. It was like, yeah, I got this. I'm good. I never felt out of place doing comedy. Once the first time I did it, I knew that's where I was supposed to be. Comedians check on me. I will say this. I have a lot of love for a lot of comedians, and they have a lot of love for me back. They do check on me and ask me how I'm doing. You know, how's my treatment? If I need anything. I've had comedians offer to take me to my treatments. I mean, they're really, really kind to me. But I don't ask or play on my cancer for any kind of special treatment. And I've done a lot of shows that, yes, were for fundraising. I've been asked by other comedians who had family members that were going through it, would I mind performing? And when I do those types of shows, I tell them every time, I do not charge if you're doing a fundraiser for a family member. You need to make that money for them. That's all about them.
Yeah.
You know, nobody should be charging you for that. But on the flip side, I have done many different shows that have nothing to do with cancer or a fundraiser or any of that.
Yeah, I've just recently started doing working for the American Cancer Society, doing the Relay for Life, and in April, and they found out I was an Elvis impersonator for 15 years. So guess who's going to be doing Elvis at the Relay for Life?
Awesome! Awesome! I hope you can put up footage. I want to see. I've got to see it.
Oh,
That's
definitely,
awesome.
Definitely,
No,
yeah.
I get asked, like if I see there's something that is for an event, I will reach out and offer my services. I have actually crashed breast cancer events to thank the people who did the event. And I tell them the reason why I crashed your event is because you're not walking just for that person. You're walking for me and my family as well. Everybody that is supporting, whether it's buying a bracelet, whether it's you're running, donating to an organization, you are doing more than just for the people that you have intended for. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it comes back to all of us. So I always am appreciative of them doing what they're doing, and I support that. So yeah, I have crashed a few events, and then they're like, would you mind talking? I'm like, oh, that's fine, I'll do it. I've talked in high schools and colleges. I actually get patients referred to me from my hospital, fresh patients who were recently diagnosed that have questions. I did a music video for Medline, the Pink Glove video, which was a good time. That was it was hilarious. I'm like, I'm a video hoe. I'm like, it took me to get cancer to get into a music video. How crazy is that?
Right.
That video actually ended up on Wendy Williams, and that for whatever reason, I interviewed with the camera person, and that interview came up in the video. So I've technically been on Wendy Williams. But no, I've been blessed that I have worked with people like Rodney Perry, who is on the Monique show. I have worked with Little Rel, who just did a video with Kevin Hart, produced his video for, I think, Comedy Central. I've met Brumman from the Fifth Floor, from Martin. From him. So, and all those people have a story. Everybody that I've worked with have told me about either a family member or somebody. So it's really amazing that on all levels that, of professionalism, they're very humble, they're very kind, and they are willing to tell me, like, wow, I had somebody who went through this, I lost a family member. It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And that's so awesome, Miss Nikki. Your story is so amazing. If there was anything that you could tell women and some men, because men do get breast cancer, it's very rare, but men do get breast cancer. If you had anything you wanted to tell them to either prevent or prepare for breast cancer, what would you want to tell them?
First of all, people need to make themselves a priority when it comes to their health care, and women are the worst. I don't care what nationality, women are the worst. Because we're caretakers by nature. You need to be selfish in that area and take care of yourself. They've changed the guidelines on the breast exam. You should learn it. Never be afraid to ask your doctor to show you, or his assistant nurse in the office to show you. Take your time with the doctor and ask all the questions that you need to ask. If you feel that you're going to forget something, either bring a friend, write it down. All these smartphones are smarter than us, unfortunately, and they have a recording device. Record it. Have that talk with your family. Did anybody have cancer? They say breast cancer is on the maternal side. Check with your family. Have those conversations that you really don't want to have. I mean, I had to sit down with my mom and talk about planning my funeral. And, did she have her things in order if she should leave before I do? You have to really take that stand and say, I am important because I am a daughter or a son to somebody, a husband, a wife, a cousin, whatever, you are important. People need each other. And for you to maintain your health, to have longevity, to be here and enjoy your family, the priority is you and your health. And nobody else knows what's going on except you. And as long as you know your body and you're honest with your physician, you can move forward and maintain a healthy lifestyle, maintain, a healthy weight, a healthy diet, do what you need to do. I'm not saying go out and jog 10 miles because that's not for everybody, but you have to know yourself. Know the warning signs. Don't ignore it. The sooner you catch anything, if you have the chance to have good insurance and get a mammogram, do it. That pain of a mammogram is way less than going through chemo, radiation, and losing body parts. Trust me when I tell you. That's why I have that picture on my Facebook page of me with one breast, so people can understand. I would rather have a mammogram than go through that. And early detection is everything. You have such a great chance of beating it, catching it early.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I want to thank you for being on here and telling us your story and motivating people. That's especially awesome. Awesome. Like I said, that whenever I first heard your story, a friend of mine, actually, she was in the Mayo Clinic being checked for lymphoma. She has some issues going on. And she came across you on that interview you did for CBS.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, let me check that out. And that's when I said, wow. That's all I can say. I said, I'm going to have to talk to her and get her story. So,
and you know what? Tell anybody who is hearing this today, if you want to find me on Facebook and inbox me any questions in relation to health, breast cancer, if I don't have the answers, I can at least guide you to get those answers. Please feel free to contact me because this is what I have said I was going to do for the rest of my life. And I mean that from the heart. So anything I can do, please, please, please don't hesitate. Find me through Rick. And Rick, you need to keep in touch with me because I would definitely want to know how you're progressing because you, my brother, are definitely a warrior going through what you're going through. And I have to see the Elvis. Good Lord, yeah. I have to see it.
I can definitely send it to you, man. I can do it all. You know what I'm saying? So Miss Nikki, why don't you let everybody know where they can get a hold of you? Do you have a Twitter, your Facebook, website, next shows, whatever?
I'm on Instagram. It's CancerQueen71. I'm on Twitter. I think it's LOL Miss Nikki Show. I can't even remember. I have too many. I'm on Facebook under Veronique Nikki Martinez. I am also under LOL with Miss Nikki on Facebook. You can inbox me either way. I have my radio show on intellectualradio.com. It's an iHeart station every Sunday. The show is called LOL with Miss Nikki. You can see me. You can get archived, every Sunday at 4 o'clock my time. I don't know what time it is by you. You can pretty much find me on social media. You can even Google my YouTube. If you put in comedian Miss Nikki in Google, you will find my videos. Enjoy them, share them. Start that dialogue. Tell them you saw this crazy lady, and start asking questions and talking to people. And feel free to contact me.
There you go. Miss Nikki's like the wind. She is everywhere and telling you about everything. Well, thank you.
I love what you're doing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you. And I just want to say peace, love, and stay laughing, Miss Nikki.
You got it. You got it.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, love.
All right. Bye. Well, that was Miss Nikki, Veronique Martinez, also known as the Cancer Queen of Comedy. I hope you guys enjoyed our chat with Miss Nikki. She was pretty awesome. She had quite the story. And like she said, make sure you're aware of your body. Make sure you know what's going on, ladies. Until next time, like I said, peace, love, and stay laughing.
Laughing with Cancer Podcast.com